Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me already, I'm Raven Skills. I have a small Etsy shop called Raven Feather where I sell a whole bunch of handmade paper crafts such as paper dragons, paper fidgets, paper dragon kits, and paper fidget kits. So in today's video, I wanted to make a tutorial on how I make my dragons just like this gal. Because of the new kit launch that I had about a month ago, I have to make instructions for them so then they will know, what to do to make a dragon. So enough talking and, let's get into the video. Okay, so to make a paper dragon, you will need 3 pieces of 110-pound cardstock. I have run out of white 110-pound cardstock, so in the meantime, I'm using 80-pound. Normally, 110-pound would be way thicker and more straight, but it still works if you're using like any kind of cardstock. Which brings me to the next material that you would need, which is 4 pieces of black cardstock. Now, I highly recommend that you use 110-pound for this, especially if you're not using 110-pound white cardstock. And for the people who have bought my kits, I have included the appropriate amount of cardstock you will need to make the specific dragon that you have bought. Next, you will need outlining pens, which you will use to outline the dragon for line art. Next, you will need a light board so that you could trace. I did not use a light board in this tutorial, and I forgot to put it in the picture, but I'll show it to you guys right now. It's basically like this huge board that has a button that emits different kinds of different settings of light on it, and it helps you with tracing things from paper to paper. Next, you will need scissors to cut out your dragon, and you will also need a glue stick, just like a regular Elmer's glue stick that you would find at your local dollar store or Walmart. Next, you will need a hot glue gun and hot glue sticks. You will also need markers of your choice from color to brand. I use Ahuhu markers. I really love these, especially because they're alcohol based and really and the kind of ink really helps me blend colors together. And last but not least, you will obviously need a pencil and eraser. So the first step of making a paper dragon is the sketch. So the sketch acts as a blueprint for your dragon and will help you make your line art, which you will see how in just a second. Now, the next step is the line art. So what I did was I took a picture of the sketch and imported it into Ibis Paint. Now, normally I would use a light board and outlining pens, but since I'm making a kit design, I need to do it digitally. And when you're doing the line art, make sure to separate all of your pieces. What I mean by that is separate the main head as one piece, as well as the jaw, ears, horns, and anything that goes on the forehead like fluff. Now, also make sure that when you're separating all your pieces, you have these little flaps that let you connect the ears, horns, etc. onto the main head. All of my line art is done. So now I'm on Cricut Design Space. Since I'm not doing this traditionally and since this is a new design for my kits this month, I'm going to create a new canvas, a new canvas. And now I'm going to add in a 8.5 by 11 inch rectangle, which will act as our guide for paper. First it's gonna be like a square because of the corners. It doesn't really matter as long as it's 8.5 by 11. So I'm just gonna click position, and whenever you're doing a square, like whenever you're doing a shape and you need it to be different sides on like different sides of your choice, then make sure you have your lock button unlocked like that, and then you put in your width, which is 8.5, and then height, which is 11. And now you have a rectangle that is the same size as the paper. So now you're going to upload all of your stuff. So I'm just gonna click select from photo library, and this over here is a swatch card, which will come as well. So I'm just gonna import the head right now. I just name it whatever, like I just don't really care what I name it. And I always make sure that it's like the minimal size for it. And if I need to make it smaller, then I will, which that's what I'm doing here. And now I'm gonna import my other ones. Okay, so now that I have all of my stuff in my canvas, I'm just going to go into my layers and hide this for a sec, and I'm just gonna select all of this, and I'm gonna actually detach it, and I'm gonna group it, and then I'm gonna make my rectangle visible again. So now I have all my stuff. I'm trying to scroll up. Oh my goodness. There you go. So now I'm just going to select all of my pieces. I'm gonna rotate it, and I'm just going to eyeball it with how it looks on my sketch right here, and I'm just going to do it like that. This is gonna be a fairly small dragon, so just gonna do that. And then at this point we can remove our paper, and we're gonna duplicate this, and we're gonna flip horizontally just like that. Right, yeah, just like that. And now I forget what happened. Okay, so flattening it isn't a problem. I'm just going to check how the layout looks when I click make for a sec. So yeah, so that looks good. And now I'm gonna import my swatches, and I'm going to put in 3 of those. And it looks just like this. I like to make mine about not 2.5, like 2.3 inches big. Yeah, this is good. Or I could make it bigger, doesn't really matter. Just give me one sec. I'm just gonna see how big my swatch cards are right now. Yeah, so it was about 2.3 inches. So now that I have that, I'm just going to bring this over here, and I'm gonna duplicate it 3 times. Just like that. And then I'm just gonna select all of those. Actually, not yet, because I still need to import my top jaw, bottom jaw pieces, so I'm just gonna do that real quick. Okay, so now that I've imported all of those, I'm gonna select all of them. I'm gonna group it, and I'm gonna flatten it as well. So then now I'm going to hit make. And I'm gonna turn off bleed. When I first used the Cricut, it was also a print and cut thing, and I turned on bleed, but then it didn't look very good, so I'm just keeping it off. And then I'm gonna click next, and just gonna move it wherever. Yep, there we go. And I'm gonna click next, and there we go. And then I'm just gonna get them all printed. So now that I have all of my pieces cut, I can start planning out the design on these swatch cards that I made. So some of you may be asking, what even are swatch cards? And swatch cards are these little cards that help you plan out your colors and mark them down. And I have also provided 3 of these just in case you mess up. And if you run out of space on the color marking area, then you can always place it over the design that's on the swatch card. And once it's all planned out, we can start coloring the dragon. So once you're done coloring, you're going to start double layering. This is a very simple and straightforward process where you put glue on the pieces and glue them to your black cardstock. And once it's dry, you bend the corners and edges where it hasn't been glued properly and fix them with hot glue. And if this is your first or second time using hot glue, make sure you have adult supervision with you. And once you're done double layering, you are just going to start cutting out all of those pieces that you double layered. So now that everything is cut out, we're going to start assembling everything. So first we're going to start aligning the top and bottom jaw to our liking, and while trying to keep everything in place, we're going to flip them over and trace the shape of the bottom jaw onto the back of the top. And when this is done, we're going to use our jaw templates and make a tick on the back of where they end, and this is only for the top jaw only. And if your dragon has a curve like this, then add a tick there as well. And when you're marking all of the ticks and whatever, then make sure to add a straight line where you have marked the bottom jaw, like at the very top of it, so that it helps you with aligning the triangle pieces that allow you to actually hold onto your dragon and make it move. I'll show you a picture of what I mean up on the screen, and if you have a tick, then make sure to bend that as well. Once you have everything marked, we're going to start making the top and bottom jaw pieces. So we're going to put the top jaw template on another piece of cardstock and trace it out. Once it's traced, you're going to add flaps on both sides of the triangle like this and cut it out. Also make sure that you don't cut those flaps off because we're going to be needing those soon. And then you're going to repeat that process until you have 2 top jaw pieces and 2 bottom jaw pieces. For the top jaw, have both pieces on 2 separate pieces of cardstock and both bottom jaw pieces on 1 piece of cardstock. And once you have all of the top and bottom jaw pieces cut out, then you're going to want to fold those flaps that you made inward, and it should look something like this. Once you have everything cut and folded, then you're going to want to cut out a square shape on a separate piece of cardstock, and you're going to want to fold it in half and make sure that it's smaller than the edge of the bottom jaw piece, because that's going to be going on to both the top and bottom jaw, acting as a hinge so that the jaw can actually move. Now that your hinge in both your top and bottom jaw pieces are cut and folded, you're going to start gluing them. Now, first you're going to get one of your top jaw pieces and get one of your main head pieces and align it with the mark that we made before. And if you had a tick on where you were marking before, then once you have aligned it, you're going to see where your tick is, and you're going to make a mark across that top jaw piece like this. And then you're going to cut little slits into the flaps like this and bend it. Once it's been cut, you're going to put hot glue on one of the flaps and glue it where you made a straight line like this. And do the same for the other side. Then repeat the process for the rest of the top and bottom jaw pieces. And for the bottom jaw, just make sure that the end of the triangle is matching up with the tick we made like this. And once we have all of our triangles glued onto the top and bottom jaw, then we're going to take our hinge and we're going to apply some hot glue on the inside of where we folded, and we're going to put that around where the top and bottom jaw triangles meet so that we can move the jaw. So now that we have our actual base done, then we can start attaching all of the horns, ears, and all that kind of stuff onto the actual dragon. Now, remember those flaps I was talking about in the liner part where you add flaps to your horns, ears, and all that kind of stuff? Well, this is where it comes in handy. You're gonna apply some hot glue onto the flaps only. Make sure that it doesn't come on the actual design, and it's gonna be like a puzzle. You're gonna try and find its match. The ear always goes on to the main head, and same with that curved horn that's along the head, but the main horn that's around the back is always attached to the ear and sometimes the main head too, but in this instance it's attached to the curved horn. So yeah, we're gonna apply some hot glue on all of those and find its match. And if you don't understand, then you can always just rewind the video and watch the time lapse or put it in slow motion. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial and watching the process of how I make my dragons. I have procrastinated so much in making this tutorial, you have no idea. And thank you guys so much for the people who have bought my kits and are watching the tutorial. It helps me so much. You again have no idea. And also thank you to the people who are still watching my tutorial and have not bought my kits. If you are interested in the kits, then my Etsy link is in my bio, again if you're interested. And also, guys, please make sure to give me feedback in the comments or video suggestions, because I have a very hard time coming up with the suggestions, and giving feedback is always important so that I always know how to improve. Like, even if it's a tutorial or even if it's a short, please give me feedback. I will try to improve on what I do, So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good day, have a good night, have a good afternoon, or have a good evening.